The kettle clicked off by itself at 6:42 a.m. It always did. I never used a timer. I never looked at the clock. Still, every morning, the kettle finished boiling at exactly the same time, as if the house itself had learned my habits and decided to keep them for me. I stood at the counter, hands wrapped around a chipped blue mug, watching steam thin into the gray air. Outside the kitchen window, the fields lay flat and pale, pressed down by low clouds. No birds, no wind, just the long, quiet breath of early winter. I liked mornings like this, predictable, contained. After Daniel died, routine was the only thing that kept me upright. I poured the water, the teabag string floated like a loose thought. I stirred once, never twice. Then I heard the knock. It was soft, almost polite. 3 taps, not urgent, not friendly either. I froze. No one came here before 8. Everyone in Hollow Creek knew that. The road was too narrow, too muddy this time of year. Visitors waited for daylight, for courage, for company. I set the mug down without drinking. The knock came again. 3 taps. I wiped my hands on my cardigan and walked to the door. When I opened it, there was no one, just a brown envelope on the porch. No stamp, no return address. My name was written in black ink. Mara. Not Miss Lewis, not Mrs. Carter, just Mara. I picked it up slowly, as if it might burn. Inside was a single sheet of paper, folded once. The handwriting was uneven, nervous. You have until tonight. They know you're still there. Don't trust your brother. Look under the west fence post. If you value what's left of your life, don't sell. My throat tightened. I read it again, then again. The kettle began to click and cool behind me. Daniel used to say the land remembered everything. We'd walk the property together in the evenings, boots sinking into damp soil, his hand always finding mine. He grew up here, knew every dip and stone. People think dirt forgets, he'd say, but it doesn't. It keeps secrets better than we do. I used to laugh. I didn't laugh now. By 9, my brother arrived. Evan never knocked. He never had. He pushed the door open and stepped inside like he still owned the place. "Morning," he said lightly. "You look tired." "I'm fine," I said. He frowned. "You're not sleeping again, are you?" I lifted my mug. I slept. It was a lie. He moved around the kitchen, opening cupboards, rearranging things that didn't need rearranging. He always did that, a way of marking territory. "I talked to the realtor," he said. "She's got a buyer ready. Cash, no delays." "I told you I'm not ready." He sighed, the practiced sound of patience. "Mara, this place is too much for you, too big, too isolated. It's not healthy." "I manage." "Barely," he softened his voice. "I'm worried about you, for your safety." There it was, always that phrase, for your safety. I watched him pour himself coffee without asking. "I got a letter this morning," I said. His hand paused. "What kind of letter?" "Anonymous." He laughed too quickly. "Probably junk." "It warned me about you." Silence. The refrigerator hummed. Outside, a crow landed on the fence and stared in. "That's ridiculous," Evan said. "You're not thinking clearly." Another phrase. I folded the paper and slid it across the table. He didn't touch it. "I'm trying to help you," he said quietly. "This is for your own good." I studied his face. Same dark eyes as mine, same crooked eyebrow, but something behind them had changed. tightened. "Daniel didn't want to sell," I said. Evan's jaw clenched. "Daniel's gone." The words landed like stones. "He left things here," I continued, "things he was working on." "There's nothing left, Mara." I met his gaze. "Then why are you so eager for me to leave?" The west fence post leaned at a slight angle, half rotted, its base swallowed by weeds. I waited until afternoon before going. The sky had darkened into a thick, unmoving gray. The air felt heavy, like it might rain but never would. I brought a small shovel. My boots sank with every step. When I reached the post, I knelt and brushed away leaves. The soil was looser there, recently disturbed. My hands shook as I dug. 10 inches down, metal scraped. I uncovered a rusted tin box. My breath hitched. Inside were papers wrapped in plastic. Maps, property records, bank statements, and a small black recorder. I sat back on my heels, heart pounding. Daniel's handwriting filled the margins of the maps. Circles, arrows, notes. Illegal waste dumping, hidden trenches, bribes to local officials. All on our land, all dated months before he died. My stomach turned. The recorder was labeled in pen. "If anything happens." I pressed play. Daniel's voice filled the quiet field, low, urgent. "Mara, if you're hearing this, it means I was right. They're involved. Evan, Mr. Collins, maybe others. They're using the South Field, burying toxic waste, government contracts, millions." Pause. "They threatened me. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to scare you." Another pause. "I'm scared now." I clutched the recorder. "They said accidents happen out here. Tractors roll, rivers rise." My chest burned. "If I'm gone, don't sell. Dig. Find the proof. Trust yourself." The recording ended. The wind rose slightly, whispering through dead grass. Daniel hadn't fallen from the ladder. He'd been silenced. That evening, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. "Mara, this is Sheriff Doyle." My pulse jumped. "We've had reports of suspicious activity on your property." "From who?" "Your brother." "Of course. He's concerned about you." "For my safety?" A pause. "Yes." "He asked me to come in. I said I would. I didn't. Instead, I copied every document, uploaded photos to cloud storage, sent files to a journalist in the city Daniel once mentioned. Then I hid the originals beneath the floorboards. At 10:17 p.m., headlights swept across my living room. A car pulled up. Then another. I turned off the lamp. Footsteps. Voices. Evan's voice. "Mara, open up." I stayed silent. "Mara, you're scaring me." Keys rattled. The door opened. He had a spare. They entered. 2 men with him. One I recognized from town council meetings. "Search," Evan whispered. I slipped out the back. Rain began to fall, light and cold. I ran towards the fields, towards the south trench. Flashlights cut through darkness. "Mara," Evan called, "come back. You're not thinking clearly." I reached the pit, a deep, narrow scar in the land. Buried barrels lay exposed where erosion had eaten the soil. Hazard symbols glowed faintly. Sirens wailed in the distance. Not for me, for them. Blue lights appeared at the ridge. The journalist had acted fast. Federal agents poured in. Evan froze. Hands rose. The rain thickened. By midnight, it was over. The investigation lasted months. The land was seized. So was Evan. He avoided my eyes in court. Said he was protecting me. said he didn't want me mixed up in dangerous things. He got 8 years. Some officials got more. Daniel's death was ruled homicide. Partial justice. Enough to breathe. Enough to stand. I stayed. I planted trees where the soil had been poisoned. I repaired fences. I taught my students about quiet courage, about paying attention. Some mornings I still make tea at 6:42 a.m. The kettle still clicks. The sky is often gray, but the land feels lighter now, like it can finally rest. I walk it sometimes and talk to Daniel in my head about small things, about weather, about surviving. And I've learned this. Some truths stay buried until you're strong enough to dig them up